1 year has passed since the beginning of the war in Ukraine, with no sight of the war ending. Today marks the first year since the war in Ukraine, with over 300,000 casualties recorded, including 7,199 civilians. Rippling effects of devastating impacts on energy markets, a rise in global hunger, and the restoration of the NATO military alliance against Russia. A year on, Russia now controls a fifth of Ukraine, including the 4 regions annexed during the ongoing war and Crimea annexed back in 2014. While the Russian President Vladimir Putin remains ambitious in cementing the Russian control over many parts of Ukraine, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has pledged to continue fighting Russia with the help of billions of dollars worth of arms from the West. With all the talk of aid, military equipment, and arms sales, it's unlikely that the bloodshed will end anytime soon. While Russia has largely been using its own military arsenal, with the alleged use of the Iran-made kamikaze drones, Ukraine has sought much assistance from the West and NATO countries, with the United States being the largest donor of approximately $47 billion military aid to the war-torn country. The country has received tanks, combat vehicles, air defense systems, long-range rockets, howitzers, anti-tank weapons, and drones. Tanks have made the headlines, and their use was one of the highlights in the war theater. The US pledged 31 Abrams 1 tanks. The UK pledged 14 Challenger 2s, and Germany 14 Leopard 2 tanks, with many other European countries also sending the German-made Leopard 2 tanks to the country. Now, air defenses also made the headlines, especially after the US pledged highly sophisticated Patriot missile systems that have a range of up to 100 kilometers. Long-range rocket launchers, particularly the US-given HIMARS, have been pivotal for Ukraine's success in pushing the Russian forces from the south. Drones have been a significant and constant feature in the war as well, with much use for surveillance, targeting, and heavy lift operations. On the 1-year anniversary of the war, Australia is sending more drones to Ukraine. Turkey has previously donated the Bayraktar TB2 drones to Kyiv as well. However, much controversy was seen on the Russian use of the alleged Iran-made Shahed 136 kamikaze drones, which they used to exhaust Ukraine via its attacks. Russia and Iran have both denied the allegations, with Iran saying it supplied a small number of drones to Russia before the war. 1 year later, the military equipment continues to flow into Ukraine, and the war continues to rage on. However, Ukraine's allies have not agreed to send Kyiv any fighter jets, as requested time and again. NATO countries worry that sending Ukraine their fighter jets for targets inside Russia would draw them into the war as well. Moreover, Vladimir Putin has issued a warning to the West that nuclear weapons had been put on combat duty, and threatened to resume the nuclear testing as well. With the Russian offenses continuing, talks of China allegedly preparing to send lethal military equipment to Russia despite its denial, the US pledging 500,000 more military aid to Ukraine, Australia and the West sending more drones and other military supplies to Ukraine, and the West and allies imposing more sanctions on Russia, there's less chance of the war coming to a halt anytime soon. I'm Tayyaba, and this was your Daily Dispatch.